Hello, so I would like to, in this video, talk about this grid that I have here. So the grid that I've put together is an abundance grid, and the geometric shape that I've used is the flower of life. And the flower of life shape can be seen all over the world. It's in temples, like famous sites. It's just one of those geometric shapes that really, it doesn't come from a particular source. It's just seen all over the place. It's one of the most revered geometric shapes around. And so when you think of the flower of life and you think of flowers in general, right, they come from a seed and then they blossom to a flower. And so the grid that I have here that I've created today is an abundance grid. And so the reason why I chose the flower of life is because it is it's growth, it's abundance, right? And so I've chosen the flower of life as my grid. So typically on a grid, on a crystal grid, there is a crystal at the center. For myself, I've used an amethyst point, and so I am an Aquarius. Amethyst is my birthstone. I was born in February, and so this represents me. I also like to use amethyst because it's a powerful stone. It's also great with intuition, the third eye, and just being aligned. And so I like to have that as a representation of myself, so that when I set the intention that I'm going to be open to be connected to spirit, to be able to receive the energy and the communication that is within this grid. Now, when you're setting up crystal grids, typically, oftentimes you'll use quartz in your grid. It's one of the most common stones. In the store, I actually sell crystal or quartz points. So you can see here, these are smaller. I have some smaller ones. I have laser points. So lasers, they come to a smaller point. And so I also have these smaller crystals here that are more towards the center. And so the way that quartz works, it can be used on its own. Some people do crystal grids that only contain quartz, but I like to incorporate different crystals in mine. It is known as the master stone, and it's an amplifier of energy. And so quartz has been used in watches and, clocks and that kind of thing for a very long time. Because it can amplify that energy. And so using quartz in your crystal grid is a great way to be able to amplify the energy. Now, when you set up a crystal grid, typically there's, when you're using these points, there's different ways that you might want to set it up. Now, for me, this is an abundance grid. So I'm trying to manifest abundance towards myself. And in that case, the points that I'm going to use, I'm going to have the crystal points directed at this. Now, say I was wanting to send out love and healing energy into the world, which I've done with grids before, and I want to send out that energy. Well, I might have my crystal points pointing outwards then. So right now, the way and the direction that you put your points is the way that the energy is going to move in. Now I have along the outside as well, I have blue kyanite. Blue kyanite is an incredibly strong crystal that you can use. It never needs to be cleared. It's kind of like selenite and one of the power stones. So you can use blue kyanite. It's also incredible with manifesting and to be able to align the chakras and just to be able to open the path in order for manifestation to happen. And so along with the quartz points, I also have the blue kyanite here pointing towards the center at my amethyst point. Now, along these 4 points here, I have the points going in, and I have a few different types of crystals that I'm working with here, and they all come from the 3 lower chakras. And so I haven't really talked too much about chakras yet, but I am putting together some videos that relate to the chakras and talking about crystals and how to use the crystals for each of the different chakras, depending on the intention that you're trying to set. But for myself, I'm trying to do abundance. And so I focused on the lower chakras, and so I have the base chakra, which is really about survival and money. Then I have the sacral chakra, which is the relationship to money, and then I have some solar plexus, which is all about the self-esteem. And so the reason why I put that in there, because oftentimes people don't feel that they are deserving or that they're worthy, and so having the self-esteem and the understanding that I am deserving and I am love and I am worthy of the abundance that the universe wants to provide for me. So I have these little smaller laser crystals pointed in, and then I have carnelian here, which carnelian is used, is a great stone for manifesting. It's also a stone that is used for kind of manifesting, clearing with money. Pyrite is a good luck stone. It also brings wealth. It's good for using with wealth. And then I have citrine here, a tumbled citrine, which is known as the stone, the merchant stone, which is all about wealth and abundance. And so here I have my crystal. I will take it and maybe I'll move the camera at the end and do like an overshot so that you can see it. But this is how I've set up my crystal grid. And then of course on the inside of each of these smaller stones, I have my little tiny laser points, which are pointed towards the amethyst. And so the quartz will amplify the vibrations of the pyrite, the carnelian, and the citrine, and then push that towards the center. And so once I'm ready to set up my grid, then what I'll do is I'll go through ritual. And really that for me is about going through meditation, about opening myself up to spirit. And ritual can be prayer. It can be really anything that works for you. But the point of ritual is really just to put your focus and your intention in on whatever it is that you desire. And so I will go through ritual in order to ask and pray for abundance. And then I'll let this do my magic. Now, some people will kind of break down their grids right away. I like to kind of keep mine going. And so oftentimes I'll do my crystal grids like this, and then I'll move them to a safe spot, which is why I like to use the wooden crystal grids. Now I could use something smaller like this as well. You can see here. So if I had some smaller tumbled stones and I wanted to be able to do a meditation with a chakra clearing, I could use one of these smaller ones as well. I do have larger versions of this where I would have a stone for each crystal, and then I would use that in my manifesting, or sorry, my meditation if I was doing a chakra clearing. But anyway, so this is the abundance grid that I have here. I would love to know if there's a particular grid that you would like me to put together, or an intention that you would like to see put into grid form. I would love to be able to do that for you. So if you do have a request, please feel free to let me know, and I would love to put an example of that together for you. So here I will just pull this off here. Pardon me. I just have it on a stand. So this is the crystal grid, and you can see the quartz points pointed towards the amethyst, and then we have the little laser points pointed towards the tumbled stones. I have carnelian, pyrite, citrine, and then I have after those the little laser points again pointing towards the amethyst, and then I have my blue kyanite along the outside as well. You could have more or less stones than what I have here, but it's really up to you. It's optional how many you want. And again, you don't necessarily have to use a grid like this. You could draw one, you could use a cloth, but I just prefer to use the wooden ones. If you have any questions about crystal grids, I'd love to answer those as well. But yeah, that's my grid.